Hi, it's Dr. Z. In this video, I will be reviewing how researchers explain the results of a scientific study. By the end of this video, you'll be able to read and write summary and interpretation statements of research studies and apply this knowledge to complete a practice problem. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to take notes. Research studies can be complicated and involve numerous statistical analyses. Developing the skill of simplifying and interpreting results is essential for any researcher. One of my goals in this course is to train you to think and write like researchers. The first step is in understanding the basics of reporting and explaining research, which we will refer to as the summary statement and the interpretation statement. The summary statement of a research study does exactly what it says. It provides a short summary of what happened in the study. This statement will report specific descriptive statistics, such as the mean and standard deviation, as well as any inferential statistics, such as any statistical tests that were conducted. This statement contains statistical notation and is pretty technical sounding. In other words, if you were to share this summary statement with your grandma or your nana, they probably would not understand what it means. On the other hand, the interpretation statement of a research study provides a simplified explanation of what the results mean beyond the number values. This statement also reflects the purpose of inferential statistics, which is to make conclusions about the sample and to generalize to the greater population. The interpretation statement translates or interprets the technical summary statement in a way that's easier to understand. In other words, if you were to share this interpretation statement with your nana or your grandma, they should probably understand the results of the study. Now that we've reviewed the basics of summary and interpretation statements, it is your turn to apply your new knowledge. I have one practice example for you to review. Psychology researchers like to explore questions that are meaningful and will influence or help others. This research question explores the role of alcohol during pregnancy. How can we study this question? The experimental method is the only way to determine a cause and effect relationship between alcohol and potential harm to a baby. However, ethically, we could not design an experiment and ask a set of pregnant mothers to drink alcohol heavily during the pregnancy and then wait until the babies are born to see what happens. But wait! We can ethically conduct experiments on animals, in this case rats, to determine the cause-effect relationship of alcohol on newborns. So let's conduct a research study with pregnant rats and see what happens. The control group of pregnant rats will not receive any alcohol during pregnancy. The experimental group of pregnant rats will receive alcohol during pregnancy. At birth, we will record the birth weight of newborn rats and compare the two groups. Fast forward approximately 3 weeks later, and we've collected the data for the control group. The normal birth weight of newborn rats was M equals 18 grams, SD equals 2. In other words, the average weight of newborn rats was 18 grams, with weight varying from 16 to 20 grams within one standard deviation. The results of this research study will be reported in both a summary statement and an interpretation statement. First, recall that the summary statement provides a short summary of the results that includes the mean and standard deviation. Our sample statement would be newborn rats with prenatal exposure to alcohol had a weight of M equals 14 grams, SD equals 3. This statement reflects that the experimental group were newborn rats exposed to alcohol and reported the weight for this sample in mean and standard deviation. So now what? What does the summary statement really mean? This is where the interpretation statement comes in. Recall that the interpretation statement translates the results in a way that is easier to understand. Since we know that the normal birth weight of newborn rats has a mean of 18 grams, and that the experimental group had a lower average weight of 14 grams, we will have the following interpretation statement. Prenatal exposure to alcohol appears to decrease birth weight of rats. The choice of words is important in this interpretation statement. Using the word appears explains that the results are unique to this particular sample of rats. It is possible that the study could be replicated with other samples of rats and not necessarily result in the same conclusions. In summary, researchers must develop the skill of being able to summarize and interpret the results of a scientific study. Explaining research in a way that others can understand is an essential Lego building block needed in learning statistics.